Right. Good morning. I want to encourage people that are seated at the back to get to the front so that we can start. But as that is happening, please allow me to invite our very own Chomgisha to come and give us the opening prayer so that we can get started. You know we are live. Please come. You know we are live. So if you are live,
Let us humble ourselves and we pray. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this moment. We want to thank you for this morning. We want to thank you for the people we have in this room and those outside, our loved ones. We ask you, O Lord, that as we are going to have this breakfast meeting, this launch, Father, Lord in heaven, that you may place your hand upon it. Bless us. Bless the activities we're going to do today. Bless the gift of this partnership that you've given us, and may it yield excellence for both companies, but also, Father, Lord in heaven, bring us to your light, Father, Lord in heaven, that your utmost good plan may prevail in each and everything we are going to have. We thank you, we bless you, and we glorify you. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we have prayed and believed.
usually they clap for the person that has prayed and the prayer they've given us. Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you very much for coming. I want to request each one of you to exchange your right hand of friendship to your neighbor and tell them good morning and welcome. Today marks a very good morning and a good start, where two trusted brands have come together to collaborate with one of the brands bringing their experience in the digital platforms, but also their agent network that they've done for quite some time, and specifically in this market. And the other brand is bringing on their technical experience from asset management to general insurance to life, to making sure they close the gap when it comes to protection and investment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of the Britam and Airtel Money Strategic Partnership. My name is Gava, and I'll be your host this morning. And it's my privilege to take you through this agenda. And I want to presume that you're excited to see me because I'm excited to see you. Slowly by slowly, I am becoming the host or resident MC for Britam, and I hope that I will extend this contract for quite a longer time. Allow me take you through the protocol this morning so that the subsequent speakers are at liberty to adopt the protocol. And I'll continue improving it as we move along. But allow me start with the head of the Secretariat, and that is the Uganda Insurers Association, and that is Mr. Jonan Chisache. Can I request him to stand up for recognition? People, our clapping is not representative of the people. Ensure that you put effort. So thank you very much, Jonan. Jonan is the head of the Secretariat, and he'll be giving us the industry perspective on digitization, but also collaboration, and is a part of our panelists. With us this morning also is the MD, Airtel Money, Mr. Japhet Aritho. The partnership has two people, and Japhet here represents one arm of the partnership, and he will be speaking to mobile reach and payment behavior. Let's appreciate him one more time. The other arm of the partnership has come in full throttle, bring all their experience, and in no particular order, allow me start with their team leader, asset management, and that is the CEO of Britam Asset Management, Miss Peace Gakwaya. Because they say ladies first, allow me also, in the same spirit, join me in welcoming the CEO of Britam Life, Miss Ida Nkwanzi. And because behind every successful lady is a strong man, please make welcome for the CEO of Britam General, Mr. Alan Mafabi. I'm sure that now you know that this marriage can't fail because everyone has brought their best foot forward. It is only CEOs at the front, not representatives of what? Of CEOs. Can we appreciate these CEOs for being here this morning? It's very, very difficult for the conversation to move on without the regulator. I'm sure the regulator will be joining us. But as he joins us, allow me request the team from the regulator's office that is here. I've seen the manager licensing, Mr. Kevin, to stand up for recognition. Our moderator, who's going to dig deep into the gap that we're talking about, which is protection and investment, to deepen it at a national level. Please make welcome for our moderator, Mabesa. Please stand up for recognition. Now that it's here, protocol is full. So please now allow me recognize the arrival of the person that fills up the protocol. This conversation this morning cannot be full without the regulator. Please make welcome for the acting CEO of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, Dr. Sunday Protazio. Dr. Protazio, it feels good to be addressing you in your capacity in that seat. So as we move along, it's also important that I recognize the PA of the acting CEO, because if she had not agreed for him to be here, probably they would have told us switch the day. Can I request Marion to stand up also for recognition? I want to recognize the members of the Fourth Estate that have joined us. Can I request them to wave for recognition? Members of the Fourth Estate, members of the press, thank you very much for joining us. And to fill up the protocol is each one of you. Can you welcome your neighbor and tell them, welcome to the launch of this strategic partnership? In the invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have one that I need to talk about, and this is the founder, CEO, Great Lakes, Mr. Amos Wekesa. Please stand up for recognition. When I saw Amos behind there, I don't know if I kept thinking, is he a customer of Britam? Is he a customer of Airtel Money? But I just presume that he's here because it's part and parcel of the strategic engagement. So Amos, thank you very much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we are done with the protocol, feel free for those subsequent speakers that will come to take on the podium, feel free to adopt that protocol as we move along in the day. Please make welcome to the GM, Richard, to come and officially welcome you here.
Check. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning again. What a very special day it is to be part of this um, very inspiring engagement. The future is meeting today. Welcome and karibu sana, as we say in East Africa. Today is so special because we are going to demystify financial inclusion. We've been seeing and hearing about deepening uh, insurance and investments and providing access to our communities and customers to be able to create wealth, but not only create wealth, preserve it, protect it, and make sure that their households have sustainable income. This is a very important day, and I welcome you all. Riding on the already existing protocols, I would like to thank everybody who has come, and please have yourselves a seat. If you've not had breakfast, take breakfast. If you've not known the name of your neighbor, exchange cards, because as I said, the future is meeting today. Allow me welcome Ida Nkwanzi, the CEO of Britam Uganda, to give us her remarks. Thank you.
The Acting CEO, Insurance Regulatory Authority, Dr. Protazio Sande, the CEO, Uganda Insurers Association, the Managing Director and leadership of Airtel Money, Uganda, my colleagues at Britam, distinguished guests, partners, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Today marks more than a launch of a strategic partnership. It marks a shared commitment to transform how millions of Ugandans access financial protection by making insurance simpler, more accessible, and part of everyday life. At Britam, we believe that the true value of insurance is not measured by the policy itself, but by what it protects: a child's education, a family's home, a small business built through years of sacrifice, and above all, the hopes and aspirations of those we love. The reality is that one unexpected life event can interrupt a family's progress in just an instant. The loss or disability of a breadwinner can quickly turn stability into uncertainty. School fees go unpaid, businesses struggle, debt becomes a burden, and years of hard work are put at risk. That is why this partnership really matters. Airtel Money is already at the heart of how millions of Ugandans transact, save, and support their families. By bringing insurance onto a platform that people already know and trust, we are making financial protection more accessible to every Ugandan, whether they are a farmer, trader, an entrepreneur, or a young professional. More importantly, we are extending protection to many who have traditionally been underserved, ensuring that where you live or how you earn your income does not determine how you can secure your family's protection or your family's future. But our responsibility goes beyond just providing access. We must build trust by keeping our promise when it really matters most. In our business, The measure of success is not in the number of policies sold, but families whose dignity is preserved because insurance has honored their promise. Together, Britam and Airtel Money are helping Ugandans move from reacting to life's uncertainties to preparing for them. We are protecting progress, preserving futures, and making financial resilience a reality for more families across our country. To our partners, Airtel Money, thank you for sharing this vision and for believing that together we can make insurance more inclusive, more accessible, and more meaningful to every Ugandan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just more than a launch. It is the beginning of a partnership that will give more Ugandans confidence that what we have worked so hard for can be protected. Thank you.
Can I request that we appreciate Ida one more time, the CEO of Britam Live? I keep saying that do not think that because Ida is very calm, she's not very tough. When it comes to business, Ida is very, very tough. And so I want to thank you very much for sharing with us the journey on how this has begun and what you're bringing on the table. But for me, what speaks is the remarks that you have just shared, is that you're making insurance every day. That in every Ugandan's life, they can actually start to touch and appreciate what protection is and appreciate what investment is. But also by the fact that you have shared that you're going to be reaching out to the underserved markets. And that's, I think, why Airtel Money comes on board, to make sure that every Ugandan can start to taste a bit of what protection is all about. But everything, the icing to the cake, was when you talked about ensuring that families' dignity is preserved when the unexpected happens. I think that is very, very powerful, because on many occasions you find that when the unexpected happens, families start to fall apart and so many things go in shambles. But the fact that we are bringing solutions that are going to now make sure that dignity is preserved, I want to thank you very much for that statement that you have just shared this morning. So the CEO of Britam Life, Ida, has talked about life protection and ensuring that legacies are protected. Next to our program is now to listen into Airtel Money, turning mobile reach into resilience. Please join me in welcoming the MD, Japhet Aritho.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Good morning, everyone. You can do better than that. Good morning, everyone. You know, today is a very interesting day. Before I go into my small speech or short speech that I've written, we need just to do a reflection. And when I saw the regulator walk in, and I know the task ahead of all of us, whereby we need to push the insurance penetration in the country, because it's one of the areas that is completely underpenetrated, it makes me think of something. And you know what? One thing that encourages me is if you look at life, anything that you can see with your eyes, you can taste, you can hear, you can touch, or you can even smell, is bound to change. So whatever you can touch with your anything that you can see today, anything you can hear, anything you can smell, anything you can, any of those things are bound to change, including the inclusion. So that is why today I'm very, very honored and humbled to be speaking to you for this very interesting partnership. So it's an honor for me and privilege to stand before you as we celebrate more than a partnership. Today, we celebrate the coming together of two institutions that share common purpose, empowering Ugandans live better, plan better, and prosper together. At Airtel, and I think that's why the master of ceremony kept on saying, we believe that financial services should not be a privilege for a few, but an opportunity for everyone. We have committed ourselves to breaking barriers by ensuring that whether Ugandans live in Kampala, in Ibanda, Arua, Kabale, or Moroto, they can access affordable, secure, and convenient financial services at the touch of the button. That is exactly what the phone empowers you to do. Today, together with Britam, we take another bold step in delivering that promise. For many Ugandans, life's biggest challenge are not about our earnings and income that we can sort out. Sometimes they are about protecting what we have. And you remember the last campaign, protecting our gains. It's very important. Sometimes they are about protecting what we have worked so hard to build. Our hospital bill, like you heard from our previous speaker, an accident, a loss of loved ones, or a damage of one's property can wipe away years of sacrifice and handwork. Financial inclusion, therefore, is not complete without financial protection. And the insurance plays a very important role there. That is why partnership matters. By bringing together Airtel Money extensive digital ecosystem and Britam's expertise in insurance and financial protections, we are making it easier for millions of Ugandans to access products that we once perceived to be complex, expensive, and out of reach. We are providing the insurance that can be simple, accessible, and affordable. The future of financial services is not about institutions working in silos. It is about partnerships that solve real problems for the real people. It is about leveraging technology to create opportunities for the boda rider, the farmer, the market vendor, the teacher, the entrepreneur, and the young graduate starting their first job. Uganda stands at an exciting moment in its economic journey. Our nation's ambition of achieving transformative economic growth will require all of us to innovate differently. We cannot build a 10 times economy if millions remain excluded from opportunities to save, to invest, and to protect their livelihoods. Financial inclusion must evolve into financial empowerment. This partnership is therefore bigger than two brands coming together. It is about building resilience for families. It is about helping businesses recover faster when the unexpected happens. It is about giving parents peace of mind, knowing that they can protect their children's future. It is about ensuring that every Ugandan has confidence to dream bigger because they know they are protected. At Airtel Money, we often say that we are in the business of enabling progress. Every transaction tells a story. School fees paid on time is a story. A small business receiving payment from the customer is a story. Money sent home to the loved ones is a story. An entrepreneur investing in their next opportunity. Today, we are adding another chapter to the story of protecting and securing. Our vision is simple. We build a digital financial ecosystem that leaves no one behind. We want financial services to move from being merely transactional to becoming transformational. Together with partners like Britam, we are creating solutions that do not move money but improves lives. Allow me to commend the teams, obviously from our side, especially Mercy. Mercy has been very instrumental, from both organizations whose dedications and handwork have made today's launch possible. Partnerships of this nature are built on trust, shared values, and commitment to excellence. To our customers, I wish to assure you that this is only a beginning. We will continue listening, innovating, collaborating, and delivering solutions that are relevant to your everyday needs. Finally, let me leave you with a thought. Financial inclusion opens doors, but financial protection keeps those doors open. When we empower people to earn, save, invest, and protect them, that what matters most, we do more than build businesses. We build stronger communities and more prosperous nation. Together, Britam and Airtel Money are not simply launching a product or service today. We are investing in the confidence, resilience, and aspirations of many millions of Ugandans. Thank you for believing in this journey. Thank you for your partnership. And thank you for allowing us to serve Ugandans. God bless you, and God bless Uganda. It's now my privilege and honor to invite Alan to give us a speech. I've been told by MC, because it's partnership, I'm the one to invite. Thank you.
Very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Japheth, for inviting me. And please, our guest of honor, allow me to stand on the protocol established earlier by the MC in the interest of time. This partnership, there are a number of things that my colleague Ida mentioned. The critical fundamental things as well that my brother Japheth has mentioned. It's not transactional, it should be transformational. We don't just do financial inclusion without the protection. Have we considered for a second as insurers how many businesses have gone bust because they didn't have insurance? How many farmers, the other day I was reading the government of Uganda taking tons and tons of food to Karamoja because there's famine there. What is the reason? Because of drought, incidentally. Not because they can't grow. Incidentally, those of you who have not traveled Karamoja, it's green. So many of us, in our minds, we think it's like a desert. But those regulars of nature that you can't control, it's only when insurance comes in to support you that you can be able to provide that resilience that we need for business to succeed. At one time, we won the award of Uganda as the most entrepreneurial country. You remember? Yes. But the challenge is very few companies live to their first birthday. Now, this partnership is meant for every Ugandan that we couldn't reach with our traditional ways of doing business. Just look across the country. Almost everybody has a cell phone. So these partnerships, thanks again to Japheth and the leadership at Airtel, Mercy at Airtel and the Humphrey and the other team working with in Britam, is meant, Mr. Regulator and guest of honor, to turn that around, for us to be visible and seen and have the real impact we intend to have in the economy. Thank you. Now, I know Britain people are tired of me speaking about space. And please bear with me. When the US NASA was thinking about building the International Space Station that is orbiting Earth 16 times a day, every 90 minutes, International Space Station, 400 kilometers in space. It's orbiting Earth. It's a lab for the entire world. The US did not go alone. They had all the brains and the ideas. They partnered with the European Space Agency, Roscosmos, the Russian one, the Japanese, and the Canadian. Why? That is one of the fundamental partnerships that you can see the great things that have been done, and so that now we can launch beyond space. We can go where the first object in the space, man-made, has gone. Voyager 1, right, currently 25 billion kilometers into space and still going, sending data to Earth. That was only possible because their partners who sat down and thought, can we be multiplanetary in future? So back to us here in Uganda and in Kampala as we launch this, what more can we do together to ensure that border rider, when there's an accident, it's not the end of his family's well-being? You may wonder, Mr. Regulator, why we took too long to start this partnership. We have been cooking for a long time. At Britam, one of the reasons that attracted top, when we say we're the biggest, I mean it because you always ask who are your shareholders. The IFC World Bank invested in Britam because in this entire region, the one company that had the capacity to do that was Britam. Why we didn't do earlier? Because we had not started all the arms of our business in Uganda. So the timing couldn't have been any better for us to transform this economy to play a role in the 10X. Right now, we have life. You've seen the CEO speak here. We have investment. We have the general insurance, of course. And in insurance, Mr. Regulator, you are aware, we're not in agro consortium, agric, we are now in. We're not in medical, we are now in. So this partnership is now plugging in at the big time for us to transform how we do insurance and how the masses can access our services. So to me, this is a day we are going to change the mindsets of every Ugandan and provide that protection, because there's been a huge protection gap. 2 weeks ago, we launched something called Katono. Why? Because there's so many people in Uganda with cars who can't afford that premium in one go, Mr. Regulator, our guest of honor. What did we do? We said if DSTV and other pay media, for better word, we're charging annually, it will be difficult to penetrate. Right now, it's possible everywhere because of bringing it down. With that partnership, one can pay the way you earn and still have protection. So there is no reason why there's any other Uganda now that can feel left out. So as I conclude, I want to commit the regulator. Your vision is deepen penetration 1.3%, I think it used to be. I don't know what we're looking at now. This is the start of this partnership. Will play a critical role in moving our way from the red ocean where all the battles happen to the unserved and the underserved. And with Airtel money, we can confirm that we have a partner that will make this possible. We have challenges with KYC. With Airtel money, that's all done, Mr. General, where you're sitting. A company like Britam, you know, with our shareholders, we cannot afford not to comply for your comfort. The one company that you can go to and be proud of that this is how I want it run will be Britam, and I commit that. Whether it's the service on claims, whether it's the reach now with the entire country, it's going to be Britam. I thank you so much for listening in. And more importantly, please spread the message. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the morning and have a very good day. And let's transform Uganda. Play a role in 10X, 500 billion economy. What's your role? What are you doing to play a role in delivering that? Thank you, and good morning once again.
I said to you that your choice of clapping, that is the CEO, Britam General. I want to thank you very much, Alan, and I want to thank you very much, Japheth of Airtel Money. Japheth, when you were presenting, they put a picture of you and your title, and then I was trying to shorten the name, Airtel Money, because it's quite long, and so the acronym was AMCUL. And then I kept telling myself that if I read it as I'm cool, you come off as MD of an NGO. So I needed to make sure that I read it as MD Airtel Money. So we want to thank you very much. I must say that Britam is very, very strategic. They don't do things by mistake. They plan ahead of time. And why do I say that? I don't know if many of you have realized that in the word Britam, there is a red dot. And so it means that even when you're moving, there are certain partnerships you can take and those that you can't. So with Britam, they were very strategic to say that how do we make sure that this red dot is a salt in our business? And you know, food without salt, eh? And so we want to thank Airtel Money for making sure that the food in the Britam is working well. In what has been mentioned, Japheth said that financial inclusion opens doors. But what keeps the doors open is protection. And certainly it is very evident that sometimes they can open the door for you and it can get closed in a very short time. But what keeps that door open is what Britam is bringing on the table. So that is very, very critical. And so Alan talked about the word resilience. And I said that for us who are seated in the audience, we can start to look at the word resilience as throwing words around sustainability, artificial intelligence. But what does the word resilience mean for homes and businesses? And it came out clearly that I just went to Google what the word means. And it simply means to recover and bounce back. And for many of us, we know that if the unexpected happens in your business, the unexpected happens in your homes, a lot of dignity can be lost. So if Britam is bringing a solution that allows you bounce back and recover, they need a bigger clap. Without any further ado, we all know that one of the roles of the regulator is consumer protection. To ensure that customers are not fleeced, to ensure that the products we are giving, the pricing that we're giving to the customers is indeed worthy of the value we are providing. So to take us through the regulator's perspective and ensuring that the public and the customers are indeed taking on a product that is worthy, please join me in welcoming Dr. Sunday Protasio.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to be very sure that the MC did not want to recall me because I saw some very serious consultation going on. The managing director, Airtel Money, the chief executive officers of Britam, that's Life, Journal, and Asset Management, the UIA boss, my young brother Jonan, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. Okay, I have been listening to the remarks which have already been made, there are certain things that come through consistently. One is that today is an exciting day. And I want to agree that it's indeed an exciting day. And why I agree is because we are dealing with an age-long problem as the insurance industry. One of the most common talked about words is penetration. The numbers have not been very exciting to talk about, and I know none of us is proud of the numbers. The penetration, the uptake of below 5% of adult Ugandans. Yes, our premiums have reached 2 trillion, but on its own, it sounds a great figure. But when you do some comparison, maybe not. Our claims have hit almost 1 trillion, the money that we pay to the public. On its own, again, it sounds a great figure, but when you do some comparison, maybe not. So it's really exciting this morning that we are celebrating, I want to call it a marriage without specifying who the husband is and who the wife is. I want to call it a union. The two parties will know, but in this case, we are in the era of equality. So both partners are equal. And I want to congratulate Britam upon choosing a responsible partner in the name of Airtel Money. In marriage, what counts? Before the marriage has taken place, I know you've done a lot of due diligence. So I'm speaking about marriage because I have a lot of experience in that space. John, and I have more years than you, I know. And you also know that. You start with due diligence. I'm sure before Britam would point to Airtel, you did a lot of due diligence beyond what we read and what we know. And Airtel Money wouldn't have accepted Britam if Britam was not a worthy partner. Now that you're in marriage, and I think Ibra mentioned, Japheth also mentioned, what is going to keep this marriage as some important pillars? Number one is transparency. And now from a regulatory point of view, we expect the maximum level of transparency. We expect the maximum level of disclosure so that where we stand, the policyholder or those people who depend on your marriage are fully protected. So, transparency of the highest order. Trust. You have to sustain the trust amongst the people who depend on you, but also between yourselves. In marriage, once trust is shaky, then you are heading for disaster. We've seen partnerships which have been destroyed because of suspicion between the partners. Please don't allow this to happen, because the moment it happens, the union will be short-lived. And how are you going to sustain the trust? Is to commit and do what you have agreed on now. These days they say ground ibirala muko. You may have not foreseen certain things. When you swing into action, many other things may manifest, but you have to sit down and agree, because there are many people who are going to depend on this. Today we are launching, we are encouraging people to trust the union. We must make sure that they trust us and we do not leave anyone exposed. Communication is also key in marriage, in your union. Consistent communication. We have an experience in this market, or experiences, which I will not go into, experiences of similar nature. which at some point have actually made us to think that maybe we shouldn't have gone there. So I'm glad that you have knowledge of those experiences. You've taken stock of lessons and you're going to avoid the same. I have a written speech, but I thought those highlights are very critical because they will determine whether we come here a year from now to celebrate the milestones or you will silently disappear. The latter shouldn't happen. The former is the desire of all of us, that we come here a year later and talk about not just numbers, not just the premiums, but the consumer outcomes. How exciting will it be for us to assemble here a year later, or maybe even in a bigger venue, because we shall have onboarded very many customers, and commit the session to only testimonies. Because as far as we are concerned, and I like Alan's remarks, we are not just concerned about providing protection for the sake of it, but protection that impacts on livelihoods. How exciting will it be to get testimonies from those this partnership is impacting a year or so later? So the theme is about protection, closing the protection gap. And when I was reflecting on the protection gap, I was looking at the people who have value, but that value, when just threatened by even the slightest event, is no more. And yet, if there was some form of protection, that value would have been sustained. So there is a gap. The most recent FinScope survey, that is FinScope survey 4, put the number at about 5.2% of average Ugandans having at least one insurance policy. When I was checking on the numbers from our colleagues, I think over 30, I was checking Bank of Uganda website, and I saw about 35.6 million mobile money subscribers. Now, if we are talking about 5% or thereabout, and these people are bringing on board the 35.6, I don't know out of this how much is Airtel, but I imagine it's a significant number. Then if we can even tap into 50% of what they have, the narrative will change completely. So in this marriage, Airtel is bringing the numbers. It is bringing the trust that we've built over time. For Airtel, I want to tell you that I only have one. I subscribed only one because I've not had a chance to that was my first, and it has remained. So you have the trust. I'm sure if we did a roll call here, each one of us could be having a line of Airtel. So you have the numbers, but you also have the trust. Alan and team are bringing the expertise. You do not have the expertise in protection. You can mobilize savings. You can facilitate transfers here and there, but they are bringing something that you do not have. And I think that is what we would call mutually beneficial marriage. Not just marrying for the sake, but you're asking, what are you bringing to the table? I have the numbers, I have the savers, but can you put something on top so that we are able to offer more value to the public? So today's launch is providing a platform where we are going to see lasting protection, an opportunity for creating meaningful resilience. Because resilience is an English word, but when you think about it, only very few Ugandans can be resilient. Because even the most powerful, the mighty, if I give an example of Makerere University building, All of you read about it. Makerere University is a mighty institution. But did you see them calling upon people to sponsor, support? How can an institution of that nature also start requesting people to come through, support here? Meaning that none of us is too big to fail. Now, if none of us, even the big shots here, are not too big to fail, how about our colleagues in the markets? How about our colleagues in the transport sector? How about the farmers? It means that we can continue with these debates in these rooms, air conditioned, but if we don't think about meaningful protection, all these will remain rhetoric. And for me, I don't want to be part of such discussions that do not impact. And the challenge that I'm putting to Britam, I want us to be invited 1 year after today to look at the outcomes, to look at what this partnership means when you gather all these ladies and gentlemen in this room. So, like I mentioned, financial resilience is built on 3 important pillars. One is access, which Airtel Money is trying to solve. Access. The products must be available where people are, not where providers expect them to be. Because we have done that time and time again. We have opened our shops for people to buy insurance, but they are not coming. So it makes sense that we go to where they are. The second pillar is affordability. I know in the products which you are coming up with to offer through this partnership, you have taken note of affordability. Insurance is such that you must have money. It's not wishful. You must have money to buy. So if Ugandans cannot afford, then we are failing at inception. I'm sure through your surveys, you have considered affordability. And the katono concept, I completely agree. Because majority of Ugandans are katono in nature. We earn so little. Insurance is not a priority because we have branded it as expensive. But when we change a mindset around katono, that is really exciting because then a boda cyclist will afford. A farmer will afford. A market vendor will afford. Even a hawker. These hawkers have money. They make money on a daily. This one is selling apples on the roadside. They make money on a daily, but now insurance to them is a foreign concept. But when we localize it, we make the prices in tandem with the earning patterns, then it makes a real sense for them, and we are likely going to see a lot of changes. So affordability becomes another important concept. The other one is trust. That has no substitute at all, and it's not even debatable. When I'm sending my money, or when I load money on an Airtel line, or the other lines, I am confident that it's going to remain. If you load 1 million and you find 999, just 1 shilling loss, even if it does not mean much in real terms, chances are high that you will think twice. Similarly, if I buy a policy with a concrete promise from my young sister Nkwanzi that when this happens, I will react like this, and it truly happens, but you start stories around, then chances are high that I will tell 1 million others that these people are not serious. So trust is fundamental. And I think the area we are going into is a bit complex. In Luganda, I think there is a saying that above baine ntondo. People with little money are more serious about their money. It's ntondo because of what they go through to make this money. So we have to be very prepared The challenge before Britam is that it's a big brand and you don't want anything like that to tarnish your brand. So you must be extremely prepared to ensure that you respond to the expectations of these Ugandans who are struggling to survive. As the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, I think you are making it easier for us. Because as you are aware, one of our mandates is market development. That's why we have joined hands with the Uganda Insurers Association in the 10-year market development plan, because we have a strong stake in that. The argument was that you cannot regulate what doesn't exist. So it makes sense that you participate in the development field so that you can also regulate. And for that matter, our regulation is mindful of its impact on the development mandate. And that's why I am here this morning to commit that we are willing and ready to work with such initiatives. Come through where you need support. In terms of regulations, if you have highlighted areas which impact or hinder such initiatives, please let's engage. Ultimately, our destination is the same. Can we have Ugandans meaningfully protected? Can we play meaningfully in the 10x growth agenda? We can only do that if we protect the gains that have been created. I really don't want to go beyond that. I want to listen more to what is being cooked, because that will excite me most. I want to go away with some takeaways from a regulator's perspective. Maybe they may not come out in this room, but we can have further engagements. How can the regulator support this partnership so that the year that I talked about, we can come and meaningfully celebrate? Today I will not take tea because I am not so sure yet. But a year later, when I'm invited, I will be the first to take the tea. So thank you very much, and congratulations, Britam and Airtel Money once again.
When you're clapping for government, you put more effort. So thank you very much, the regulator, for sharing your remarks that are very critical for us as players in the market. One of the statements that you mentioned that was very exciting to my ears was that the regulation is mindful of development. And for me, what came out clearly is the fact that you are regulating, but not to curtail. And so we want to thank you very much for ensuring that you provide room for people to find befitting solutions. Japheth, I want to thank you very much that yesterday in the morning, 3:30 a.m., the message came of my interest payment. It's commitment to say that even when we are sleeping, you are busy working for us. So, colleagues, I want to tell you that we are working with serious characters. So it's not really a joke. So I want to thank Britam for picking out such people that even in the night they are working. Regulator, this is to give you trust that we shall come back 1 year to celebrate success. For those of you that didn't receive, it means you're not investing. Yeah, it's simple as that. You reap what you sow. The regulator has talked about very critical components of what it means to strategically engage And he talked about quite a number of things, but I just want to talk about two of them that came out clearly, is transparency and disclosure. Now, at a marriage level, husband and wife, transparency and disclosure means you have no passwords in your phones. You have one shared bank account. Ask your neighbor, how is it? Ask your neighbor, how is it? It may be a challenge at your household, but I want to guarantee you that Britam and Airtel Money, this partnership is not going to fail. Regulator, thank you very much for alluding to the fact that Katono is a very serious concept in our market because of our earnings. And I'm sure that this has been really mapped out by the two partners to make sure that every Ugandan can test and appreciate the role of protection and investment. So before we launch, allow me share with you a video that speaks to the gap that we are trying to cover.
Every day, Uganda buzzes with ambition. In our homes, on our roads, and across our communities, people are working towards it.
We have heard the volume, now we want the picture.
So
give us the picture.
And risk. For many Uganda, every day, Uganda buzzes with ambition. In our homes, on our roads, and across our communities, people are working towards a dream. However, one unexpected moment can place years of hard work at risk. For many Ugandans, the protection that they need to recover still remains out of reach. This reality creates a protection gap, the distance between the lives people build and the support they need for when plans fail. For too long, financial protection and investment have felt complicated, distant, and exclusive. Yet across Uganda, millions of people already carry a powerful tool in their hands, a mobile phone that connects them to family and allows them to earn, pay, save, and be part of the community. Britam and Airtel Money Uganda believe that same medium connecting people to everyday opportunities can also connect them to greater financial security. By bringing together financial expertise and technology, we are creating simple pathways to protection, saving, and investment, all designed around how Ugandans do life every single day. We are turning technology into opportunity and opportunity into lifelong protection. This is the power of partnership. Britam and Airtel Uganda, securing your tomorrow together. Every day.
For those of you that are critical, that red dot navigates the entire word, goes around it, and comes back to the top. So I want to thank you very much for picking quite a strategic partner on this journey. The regulator talked about something that I usually share with people. We all know that at one of those days you can lose a loved one. And it's similar to what happened to Makerere University. But in your office, you want the book to move around. Hey, you didn't give me. When I lost. Why didn't you plan? It's important that we plan together. And I keep telling my friends, because we know that they can actually come. But when it comes and you have planned adequately with serious partners, then you're actually on a good side. So for us as people in the room, I want to think that we are tweeting, that we are Xing, and we are TikToking about this conversation. How many of us have shared it on our social media platforms? Tell your neighbor, be serious. Tell your neighbor, be serious. Be serious, because we need this conversation to get out of this room. So to launch the strategic partnership, allow me invite firstly the MD of Airtel Money, Japheth, to come to the stage. And Alan, you'll appreciate, because ladies first. Allow me start with asset management. Please come and do the handshake as the first person to start on this journey of the strategic partnership. For us in the room, this is when we clap. So Japheth, you do an official handshake and the photographers take your photo. Piece by piece, we are forming the partnership. I need to be sure that the photographer has taken that. This is Miss Peace Gakwaya representing asset management at Britam. So for the media houses in the room, this is how you're going to piece up photo by photo so that tomorrow first page it comes out evident. Please, you need to be at full smile. Thank you very much. So please, you come on the side and I'll invite Ida. Britam Life. This is when we clap for Ida as she's making her way to the stage. Same procedure. Full throttle handshake. Eyes to the camera, full smile, Ida. To complete the partnership is General Insurance. Please make welcome for Alan. That one is stronger. It signifies we are not going anywhere. I have come to stay. So because we are working with media houses, so let us get into a group photo to make sure that now the partnership is fully consolidated. Yes. Now at this point, of course, I have to invite the regulator who is going to see the partnership, but also regulator will use this photo to follow up on the 1 year. And as you invite the regulator, it's also important that the representative of the secretariat also comes through. So after this photo, I'll also invite Jonan to come and join this photo. So let's have one with the regulator, and after I'll invite the lead and the secretariat. Mr. Jonan Tisache, please come and join in. All right, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, because the partnership is full, can I tell each one of you to rise up? At the count of 5 to 0, when you hear 0, you'll give a big clap 5 times. And we'll do it in chronology. We'll clap once, we'll clap twice, we'll clap 3 times, we'll clap 4 times, we'll clap 5 times. Understood? All right, and the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Clap once, clap twice, clap thrice, 4 times, and 5 times. Thank you very much. I needed to invite a representative of customers. Amos, are you still around? He has I needed to invite a representative of a customer, but I will figure out which representatives to invite to make sure that. But if you take the photo, you need to show us that you are the first consumer of the product. This business of coming and taking photos and you're not purchasing will not allow. All right, so next on our agenda or program this morning is the panel that is going to share with us what it means to protect and what it means to invest. Please join me in welcoming the General Manager at Britam, Richard Mwebesa, to come and moderate this panel.
Thank you, Gava. Isn't Gava, what do they say, rocking? He is, as usual. A hand clap for Gava. Thank you. So, because we're fast spent on time, we'd like to have the session of the panel. I'll be inviting the panelists. But before I do that, I mentioned earlier that the future is meeting today, and indeed it is. A few highlights before the panelists take their seats. My name is Richard Mwebesa, as you've heard. I work with Britam, and I'm so excited to be with you this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me that the discussion today is not about placing another service on a mobile channel. Rather, it is looking at value and how we present that value to our markets. Financial realities are out there and are affecting people from an economic, from a social perspective. Now, us coming to partner with a digital provider is to bring value that we have had that has been complex for, I would say, umuntu wawansi or any person on the street to understand. We're trying to help provide that access and demystify the conversation about protection, but also how they can save and be able to invest and create and develop wealth. So, looking at this and setting that stage, I would like to invite the panelists. Of course, ladies first. We shall have the CEO of Britam Asset, Peace Gakwaya. Please come and take your seat. We shall also have a representative from the regulator, Mr. Kevin Katete, the manager, licensing and compliance. Please take your seat. We shall have the CEO of the Uganda Insurers Association, Mr. Jonan Kisache. Please come on and take your seat. And last but not least, we shall have a representative from Airtel Money. Mercy, I saw you around. Hey, yes, she's still around. Yes, let us invite a big hand clap for Mercy. Akelo from Airtel Money. Please come and take your seat. Mercy, you're smart. I can see you dressed up in the full color frame so that the launch goes as planned. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the panel. High level. Hope you're all okay. Okay, to balance. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Jordan, we're okay. Okay. All right. I think media team, hope we're good because we want to accelerate this conversation. Good morning, Jonan.
Morning, sir.
How are
Mr.
you? How
Moderator.
are you today?
All is well.
Okay. I was just saying hi.
Quite excited.
Awesome. So I'll start with Peace. Peace, hope you're ready. I would like to pose a question which is quite very interesting and has been thrown at me a number of times. But before I do, Warren Buffett said 2 rules. Number 1, do not lose money. And number 2, he said, always remember rule number 1. I hope you got it. Yes. So money matters, and matters of money matter. So first question, from Britain's perspective, what does Uganda's protection and investment gap look like in the everyday lives of households and small businesses?
Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's exciting to see the area of you and see the excitement of everyone here. And just before I get into the question, I just wanted us to have a step back and appreciate this partnership, where we are, where we're going, because usually when we're speaking about mobile money, it's basically about sending money, receiving money, and payments. But today, this is something different where the conversation is about how do we protect this money using that same device, that same small, I won't call it community, but I will say that feature phone for your mother, for your friend. How can we now use it instead of just sending money, receiving money, but how do we use that same device not only to protect what we have, but also grow what we have? Speaking of the gap, In Uganda, if we look at the most recent census, we are over 46 million people. I think our MD Airtel has just mentioned about the number of, sorry, I know technology, but wish it won't. Okay, I hope this is better. Okay, great. So if we look at the current census that we had, we're looking at 46 million people. Out of those, we have over 36 million mobile users. What does that mean? That money is actually moving between hands, but where is the gap? The gap is people are actually just transacting. They are not using this money to protect themselves or to save. If you look at the statistics in terms of penetration of the market, in terms of insurance, it's basically less than one. If we go to the main unit trust, which has been a service that many people are speaking about, it's just under 180,000 accounts. Imagine we are looking at 46 million people, but those are the statistics. Let's bring this back home. Your favorite border guy, your favorite market vendor or person in Nabugabo, for those who have small side hustles to do businesses, that person actually earns money daily. And when I say earns money daily, they actually put money in their pocket on a daily basis. Your border guy at the stage that you send is also earning money daily. But look at this. If he has an accident, if he falls sick, he will start having to borrow at ridiculous rates. He might have to sell off his border to take his child back to school. That is where the gap is. This is not abstract. This is the reality of a typical Ugandan. And what we are saying today is how do we use this device to actually plug the gap and reduce this and make sure that everyone, just not the underserved, but people in different jurisdictions can actually protect and grow their wealth. Thank you.
Check. I'll move on to Jonan and ask a question about the association and what we're doing as an industry. Jonan, what has the digital motor third party journey taught the industry about what can be achieved through collaborations?
Okay, I hope I'm audible, and I may not need an extra microphone. Now, first of all, I must recognize the presence of our regulator and also ride on the protocol as established by the Master of Ceremonies. Quickly, I must also congratulate Britam on this very important partnership and collaboration. So to Britam, congratulations for doing the right things. Then I must also thank Britam because unlike many of the other players, because the role of the association really is to represent and be the voice and use examples from the industry. If such partnerships and collaborations are taking place and the association is not in the house, we don't have examples to use to defend the industry and the sector. So I want to thank Britam that every single time you remember the association and ensure that we are on the table of these conversations. But Japhet has left. I wanted to also warn him that usually, and Alan knows, usually when the regulator makes a suggestion and says we need to get back here next year, it becomes a compliance or licensing requirement. So Britam knows, and Airtel must say you're here. Please ensure that you do not injure or jeopardize Britam's licensing requirement next year. We must ensure that we are here. But I also wanted to align myself to some of the statistics that have been shared here, which then speak to the critical importance of this partnership. And I will be coming to your question shortly. If you look at the statistics released by UCC, Q1 market performance, and I would want to compare those with some of the statistics that we see from the level of the association. And then that will speak into the lessons that we've been able to pick from the launch of the Motor Third Party platform and the digital stickers as the sector. Now, if you have an industry that has over 47 million active mobile users, you have an industry that has over 36 million mobile money subscriptions and over 20 million smartphones. If I flip that to the insurance side, and I'll use the statistics from my MTP platform, motor third-party consumers that we have as per end of 2025 were only 500,000. 20 million, 36 million, 46 million, 47. Mobile at MTP, motor third party, only 500,000. If you look at medical insurance, we only have about 600,000 customers who have purchased medical insurance or who we are covering on the different schemes. And the bulk of these are actually dependents. If you talk about the principal members, the actual employees are only less than 200,000. If you look at the figures that we have at the Uganda Insurance Association, as per end of 2025, we had only 2 million lives covered in insurance. Those are statistics that we have at the association because we keep collecting these. So now that gives you the position we occupy as insurers, but also it speaks to the potential of this partnership. And Mr. Regulator, I want to give you assurance that of the numbers that we have for half year for motor third party, and I know Britam is one of those that sells this product, we shall be giving you an update on a monthly to see the impact of this partnership. Because we have those, at least for motor third party, I can guarantee that we'll be able to give you those numbers. So this partnership is a critical one, and I felt that I needed to share those statistics to demonstrate to you the potential that we have embarked on this morning. But what have we learned? What have we learned since we launched the motor third party platform? And everyone in the house knows that using Airtel Money, you can be able then to initiate a purchase of your motor third party sticker. One of the things speaks to what I've just shared. We are now able to leverage data and analytics. We now are able to appreciate as an industry, and my members will tell you that we are now sharing quarterly, monthly, annual reports demonstrating certain statistics that are critical for the sector. I can tell you that, for example, when it comes to distribution, Airtel Money has about a market share of 15%. So of the 224,000 users by half year of 2026, Airtel Money only had 32,000. That is 15%. So I can tell you that straight away. I can tell you the other channels. I'll tell you how much the banks are contributing. I'll tell you how much the direct channel is contributing, and also the agents. That means that I can focus my campaign and my efforts appropriately. That is data, that is analytics, that is platforms, that is digitization. But above all, I can also now lobby and engage the different stakeholders. When I go to Uganda Revenue Authority, I will tell them that, you know, according to my platform, I am paying taxes equivalent to 1.7 billion every month under one product of insurance. So I can engage and say, guys, can we work around something? Because this is what I'm contributing and bringing to the table. And also the members can then be able to know. I also can be able to tell the regional spread. I know how much central, northern, eastern, and western is selling. The other issue that we have learned is that it has now given us an opportunity to partner with the MNOs and tap into the numbers I talked about. Because with this partnership of Airtel, with the partnership with the other aggregators, we are now able to sell and have an opportunity to extend services through these channels. But also these platforms, You know, when I talk about 500,000 people accessing motor third party through the digital platform, the first question I now ask myself is, am I satisfying these customers in terms of what they are accessing? I start thinking about different products. Right now, motor third party, we have the statutory product that has caused us so many problems. And I know we are working with the regulator to amend the law. The question now is, what else can I offer? And we learned this from the likes of Airtel. If Airtel can give me 1 GB, 2 GB, 500 shillings, what else can I offer? So we have now agreed and we have started enhancing the motor third-party product, and the regulator has given us clearance. So it means we can now have a buffet of motor third-party. You can choose to purchase the statutory one. You can also choose to enhance. We would never have done this without these platforms. But also the most important issue is fraud. We have learned how to deal with fraud because we are working collaboratively through these platforms. But also, and as I conclude, and I know the moderator is looking at me and saying, this man, we have given you a platform, you must use it very well. We have also learned that we can be able now to reach the far-off areas. Insurance predominantly is sold through agents, through brokers. But how far can they go? These are predominantly stationed in urban areas. What can get us into the rural areas? It is these platforms. And that's how we've been able to tap into these numbers. So for us, as the Uganda Insurance Association, the lessons for the members, the lessons for the association have been enormous. And we are now extending this digital platform to other spaces. We are thinking about workers' compensation. How do we work together collaboratively on a platform? We are thinking about medical insurance. We are thinking about marine. It's already a work in progress. So again, it has enticed us to think beyond the traditional ways of doing things as insurers. I submit, sir.
The future, indeed, the future is meeting today. I've had data, strategic direction. You take your decisions based on data, not on guesswork anymore. Yes, we've heard about penetration a number of times, insurance. We've heard about deepening financial inclusion. I believe this platform and partnership is taking us to that place. So I'll come to Mercy. Mr. Katete, I'm saving you for the last, yeah, as a regulator. So I'll come to Mercy. Mercy, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we'll just pass on the mic. I think the smaller mics are a
Morning,
bit low.
Richard.
Good morning to you once again. So, Airtel. Let me pose a question here. What can Airtel Money contribute beyond payment collections for us as an insurance provider,
Thank
an
you so
investments
much, Richard.
provider?
Thank you so much, Richard. I was hoping you'd ask that question actually, because most of the answers have already been given in the speeches that have been made. I stand on the already existing protocols. So, what can Airtel Money contribute beyond collections? There are very many things that we do at Airtel Money that I feel like the public does not know. And some of the things we can contribute, or we're already contributing with Britam and other companies. One, paying out claims. Now, all over Uganda, Britam is known for paying claims. That's one thing that they've stood on that business. They've stood on business, and very good reviews have come from people outside Airtel Money and those within Airtel Money on that. Paying out claims, we do this through the disbursements. So we also offer the disbursement channel under Airtel Money. We also have bill payments. Bill payments, you're paying electricity. We have the regulator here, and we also have regulators who manage the bill payments. You have national water. All those are under bill payments, and you can still use Airtel Money. We have also payments of insurance products. Under investment, Peace was talking about insurance investment products, and I know that is going to come within 1 year. When we are coming back here, there's going to be a lot of progress on that. But also it has helped people to be able to pay these investment in smaller quantities, because there are people outside Kampala, there are people outside towns who want to access insurance and they can't. So it enables them to pay in small amounts through Airtel Money. The other thing, government products. We know motor third party is under the regulator, but it's also under government. So you can also pay through Airtel Money. There are other government products that we also pay through Airtel Money, URA, all that can be paid using Airtel Money. Now, there are different things can be paid using money. We have IMT, International Monetary Transfers. You can be abroad and still send your money through Airtel Money to pay for all the different products you have. So we've developed very many payment channels, and we're also flexible, and we adjust according to the adjusting market structures and all the different innovations that are coming around. Yes, so those are some of a few, but we are flexible enough to adjust.
Flexibility, needs driven value to the markets. Thank you, Mercy. So we'll move on to Mr. Katete, the regulator. Just help me pass on the mic, just in case the table mic is not functioning well. Hope we're good. Is your mic good?
I hope so. Yeah, I think it does.
Awesome. So Mr. Kevin, from a regulator's perspective, what public interest opportunity is created when insurers and mobile money platforms work together?
Okay, first of all, riding on the protocol earlier given, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, I'd like to maybe, before I answer your question, add my voice to that of the CEO and congratulate Britam and Airtel for this union. Yeah. In terms of matters of public interest, a lot has been said around the protection gap and the fact that penetration is really low, below 1%. And the opportunity we have here clearly comes out when we listen to the statistics that have been read out either by Jonan or even in the speeches that have been mentioned. We're looking at us moving beyond the current insurance policy holders and getting access to a larger group of people who currently are not accessing insurance. And we're looking at it from the point of view of, and I'd like to borrow Japheth's words, moving beyond the transactions, moving beyond a relationship of transactions where your client is paying premiums and we're using mobile money to pay claims, and we're going to the point of having products that transform the lives of the people we serve. And I think that becomes a matter of public interest if we are to move our country by 10x, as mentioned by the CEO of Britam General. It's important that we can leverage on both the attributes of Airtel Money and also the attributes of Britam, so that we can get products that when I purchase as Kevin, it's affordable, yeah, it's accessible, because most people have phones, but also it protects me in a way that is not complicated. Yeah. And so from a public point of view, it would make a lot of sense that the products that should come out here should not be the conventional ones, should not be the ones that we are used to, and definitely we'll be looking forward not just to what is happening with Katono, but what will happen from this particular relationship 1 year from now.
Thank you, Kevin. I was filtering what you're saying. I had AASP, affordability, access, protection, and simplicity in what you just mentioned. Thank you for that submission. Peace, I'm coming back to you. Why should insurance and investments be discussed together rather than as a separate financial value proposition? And as you digest the question, it's always been a big issue where people say, I would rather, if I had a choice, based on the income I have, first of all, invest because I'm getting a return rather than put money in insurance where I'm not sure if the loss is likely to happen. I believe most of you insurance practitioners and probably people in the investment space have come across that divide. So as you answer that, giving us a perspective, how does insurance and investments work hand in hand to give value to our markets?
Thank you, Richard. It looks like, okay, I was about to think that's what's happening with the mic. But I think that's a very good perspective of looking at it. And that's what's actually on the ground, where the distinction between the two is very hard for a day-to-day person. At Britam, we speak about these in the same breath because they are two halves of the same solution. You can't have one without the other. Because when we speak about protection, it's basically insurance. And when we think about growing, it's basically investments. Case in point, if you are just investing without protecting, that one day, I think you've heard of people that who will tell you that, you know, yesterday I was actually going to pay my insurance for my car, but I got caught up and the next day they have an accident. So if you're basically investing without protecting, you're going to wipe away everything in unfortunate instances. Then when we speak about investments, yes, it's a nice fancy word, but we need to go back to the drawing board. What are you investing for? You're building your growth for the future, because when you look at investments, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It takes time. So if you're not protecting it, that means at some point in time, when there is an eventuality, you're wiping out everything. And that's when we turn the coin to the other side of where you're protecting, but you're not investing. That means that, yes, you'll be able to cater for that instance, but you're going to stay stagnant. You're going to be in this same space for a long period of time. So at Britam, we're looking at both and they can coexist. The most important thing is to educate, sensitize, and also inform our different stakeholders and people that we are actually answering the solution. This is a solution where you have both protection and growth in the same ball. Thank you.
Thank you, Peace. That is very powerful. And I agree with you 10,000%. I hear you say three things: growth, sustainability, and also protection within the solutions that we provide. So coming back to Jonan, and as we wrap up, Jonan, I have heard you talk about data and the possibilities that can come out of this partnership, reaching untapped markets, being able to see where your money is going so that you can put your heart there. Even the good book talks about it, where a man's what? Treasure is, so his what? Heart is. Coming to the last question here. Why do you think customer education is still essential even when the purchase and verification journey becomes easier?
Thank you very, very much. Now, first of all, before I even go into that question, I wanted to challenge the insurers in the room. I think the critical aspect of collaboration, and we must learn from the telcos. You can imagine when now you talk about a competitor in front of Airtel, they see an opportunity. How do we move to that level as insurers that when we talk about insurance, we are looking at opportunities? And I think that is what this collaboration is also teaching us. They are sharing musts. It is now standardized in terms of sending money across networks. What do those lessons teach us as insurers in terms of the aspect of collaboration? The other thing that I wanted to mention is the issue of as we digitize. That as we digitize, we should never forget the human touch. And as Airtel embarks on this journey with Britam, that fallback position must be very important because insurance is personal And as you embark on this digital channel, this digital journey, you must remember that it's a personal issue. But you asked me, why do we still need consumer education, even when the verification journey becomes a lot easier? I think for me, it is important that we are candid as insurers. We've had a bit of a trust issue, and we must ask ourselves what has caused that trust element. I think the biggest challenge has been that probably there is a doubt that a claim will be paid. So as we embark on this journey, and as we educate the masses, and that is why it's very critical, we must continue to demonstrate that we can be able to pay the claim. Consumer education, consumer sensitization is critical, but above all, payment of a claim is important. The other issue is that insurance is technical. You will talk about premiums, you will talk about indemnity, you will talk about subrogation. Is it possible that through a digital platform, a customer will appreciate most of these concepts? I don't think it's possible. We therefore must continue the aspect of sensitization, because sensitization then breaks down the complex product for customers to be able then to appreciate it. With the leadership of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, we have now launched what we have called the Insurance Literacy and Market Development Agenda, a 5-year strategy that was financed by Africa Foundation for the first phase. The purpose of this agenda is to support in demystifying insurance, breaking it down. You know, you talked about Katono. We want to break down insurance so that the masses out there that we are targeting appreciate what insurance is all about. I want to call upon Britam, call upon Airtel, that even as you embark on this journey, you come along and support this agenda, because the agenda is supposed to make it easier for you, such that at the point at which the customer is consuming your product, they have a full appreciation of the possibilities of what insurance can do for all of us. I think for me, the other issue is about the complexity and the perception that the public has. Now, if I use a product like motor third party, the biggest part of the population calls this a tax. And you would not blame them for calling it a tax. Because if you look at a motor vehicle, a private motor vehicle, more than 50% of the premium they pay it goes towards taxes. If you look at a motorcycle alone, it's about 80% of the premium. Out of the 40,000 that a customer would pay for a motor third-party product, for a motorcycle goes to taxes. So customers believe that, again, this is a tax. The onus is on us to sensitize. And that is why consumer education is critical, because then it clears that misconception. The challenge I want to leave with Britam and the rest of my members is that we've focused so much on the how. These digital platforms demonstrate how you can purchase, how you can access the product, how you can pay. Can we focus also on the why? And I think that is where sensitization comes in. Because why do you need this product? Can we be able to disclose? Can we be able to share as much information as possible, so that by the time the customer understands the how to purchase, they have appreciated the why? And that is where consumer education comes in. Thank you,
Jonan, I think simplicity, sensitization, information dissemination is critical for this innovation and partnership. But also what I hear you say is that we have to focus on the why. Why should someone buy insurance or take an investment from the partnership? That said, allow me come to Kevin, then I'll have Mercy come in last for the last round of question. Kevin, I know as a regulator, there are a number of safeguards, stage gates that you have from a regulatory perspective. But I believe in that process and the journey through the mobile channels, there are non-negotiables where you're sitting. Can you please share with us what those key non-negotiables are as we innovate to provide value for tomorrow, but remain within the safeguards as a regulator.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a very important question, especially for us in insurance. I'd like to go back to what Jonan said about lessons we can learn from the partners in this union. The first time I interacted with mobile money, no one needed to come and tell me how it works. Yeah, I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but basically it's a product that was designed around a need to transact, and so everything followed that need. And the challenge we face in insurance is every time we have an innovation or something around digitization, we have a lot of solutions looking for problems. Yeah. So we have a digital solution, we have a partnership, and now we're looking for a problem to solve. So I think it's very important that even once this partnership is in place, now how do you design the product around the problems that our Muntu Awansi is facing? Because we know that digitization will lead to greater access, opportunities for simplicity and everything, but will it actually transform the lives of the people we're targeting? And I think that should be the ultimate outcome that we're looking for, and not necessarily the numbers. Yeah. And maybe just to speak to the fact that people say insurance doesn't pay, and yet when you look at our annual reports, more or less half the time we pay back half what we receive. Yeah. So it was like 46, about 46% in terms of claims paid. Now, how are we able to use that with this particular platform with all the advantages that mobile money brings on board? So, number one non-negotiable is the product design. Yeah. The product has to be designed around the needs of the clients. Second, is I think the CEO alluded to the important things within a union: communication and transparency, disclosure. How do you leverage on the mobile platform um, to disclose everything that the customer needs to know about the product? So on the regulator's side, we want to make sure that the eventual customer has access to enough information to help them make an informed decision. But at the same time, enough information when the claim arises to get the claim paid. Yeah. So it's transparency is a second. Then how do we go around things like informed consent? How how do I find myself in a product that I never really signed up for? Yeah, so there has to be that element where customers are informed and they do consent to take up these products. Yeah. And then finally, I would say data protection. I think we're in the era where there's a lot of information and data is king. And we can leverage on the information from both sides of this union. And under data protection, the information that should be shared between both the partners has to be information that is relevant. But at the same time, we need to look at protecting personal information, sensitive information, so that people's, I'd say, secrets are not compromised. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you, Kevin. I had needs-driven value. Insurers looking for problems after the solution has been created, of course, which is not compatible, because you can't create a solution before you understand the need or the problem. Transparency, communication, and of course, being able to protect data, because the new gold is data. It is mined, and once it's mined appropriately, it's valuable. Last but not least, Mercy, mobile money is already part of the lives of every Ugandan as we speak. Millions and millions have signed up and are transacting on a daily basis. What makes it a powerful channel for expanding access to insurance and investments? The mic.
Thank you so much, Richard. Mobile money. I think we can all agree that mobile money are the new banks. Mobile money is accessible everywhere. You're in towns, you're in the village, outside your country, mobile money is accessible everywhere. Now, what makes it a powerful channel for insurance and investment? Mobile money mainly came up due to the deficiencies of banks. It was impossible for banks to have stations or branches at every point around the country. Hence the reason why mobile money has been able to grow up to this level. Now, because of that, someone who is at home is able to access the nearest mobile money agent at least 50 to 100 meters from their homes. There's always someone to educate you about mobile money. Now, that in itself makes it a powerful channel. If I can be able to walk out and I have a mobile money query, find an agent, find a mobile money shop, an Airtel mobile money shop, get advice from them for different products, different services, get informed, and transact as per the information they've given me, that's already a very strong channel. And one thing I can say is that we know businesses grow by word of mouth. When I use a mobile money service and it works for me, I'm able to tell someone else or my neighbor the benefits I've gotten from that, using that channel. And that's how mobile money has been able to grow. Now, how is it helping insurance and the investments? One, for insurance, we've been able to break down insurance premiums to smaller, affordable pricings. If you were paying comprehensive insurance before, I know the amounts used to be very huge sums. Paying 2 million, this was discouraging people from taking up the comprehensive insurance. With the introduction of Katono Katono, you're able to pay smaller amounts and complete your payments within a given period of time. But one, that has made it attractive for the masses outside there. They're able to have trust and know I'm paying for this product. Even when I've paid for it within 3 months, I'll still get the benefit as someone who paid the whole sum at once. Now, in regards to investments, saving in our country is something that is not very, it's not taken up by the large masses in the country. It's something that is moving at a very slow pace. When someone thinks about saving, they're going to think about a bank. But when they also sit down and they say, okay, should I really take this money to the bank? What am I going to get by taking this money to the bank? And then they will think about it and be like, no, let me channel this money elsewhere. But with insurance, one, we've guaranteed that the customers can get their money at any time. We've guaranteed that when the need comes and they need to get their claims, they are paid at any time using mobile money, which is very efficient. The moment I pay using mobile money, you can either choose one, pay for different services using the mobile money itself. Now in Airtel Money, we have different services you can pay for when you receive money. Whether you're paying school fees, whether you're paying utilities, whether you're paying the motor third party, whether you're paying insurance products, all those you can do that when you receive money. You don't have to actually withdraw it. And it's what we encourage customers. Keeping money in the ecosystem, making sure that you don't have to leave your home, incur any extra charge to transact using Airtel Money. When you save through through mobile money, through insurance, one, the first thing is that it's very easy for you to check your statements online. Insurance they've really digitalized it in that you're able to check for your savings, you're able to check for the different other products they have and how they can also benefit you, because it gives a brief of what the different products do. So you're able to trust that one, I'm saving with the right partner and I'm using the right channels for payments and for my savings.
Wow. What a convincing statement. I heard you mention two things which are very important. You don't have to take the money away at the comfort of your sofa at home. Once the money, I always enjoy that car ringtone. There's a car ringtone when the man has arrived. You know it, on the phone. It sounds very good, Gava. Do you agree with me? When you hear doing ding, then you're like, okay, I'm sorted. So at the comfort of wherever I am, I'm able to pay, or I'm able to invest and save, and I don't have to touch hard cash paper. Two is that there's an expansion of latitude on the possibilities I can do with mobile money and, of course, the platform. So, coming to the end, I would like to wrap up with parting shots. I think I'll start with you, Mercy. Just the highlights. Your parting shots, then Jonan, Peace, then lastly, of course, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Richard. I want to thank Britam for this partnership. I think it's long overdue. We've been married for all these years and we've finally legalized it. But I also want to thank you for taking up the step to come up and sensitize the public with this event launch. One, there are very many people who have the perception that insurance is something you can do without until something bad happens to you. That's when you would wish you at least had paid even once just to know the benefit of insurance. Secondly, I want to thank the regulators and Britam in itself for taking time to educate people about the to broaden the perception of insurance. Jonan mentioned people know motor third party only. What does motor third party entail? What is the benefit of paying motor third party? And I want to thank you and the regulators and UIA in question for being able to educate the public in this regard and for all the input moving forward that we're going to see regarding this launch and the partnership with Airtel Money. As Airtel Money, I know we are still going to sensitize the public and we are still going to be able to reach out to the customers who are not within the Britam reach, but are on Airtel Money. Thank you so much.
Jordan?
Okay, thank you. In 2 minutes, just one or two things. Number one, let's continue collaborating. We save costs when we collaborate, really. There's no need of trying to show muscles by all of us, embarking on the journey alone. I think we need to collaborate. But also let's work with already existing platforms. I mean, you can see this partnership speaks to what Airtel can be able to do. Let's continue to work this way because we then gain scale very quickly. The other thing is that we must automate the entire process. Please don't just onboard customers, but also ensure that the customers you've onboarded can actually get their claim paid. That is critical. If I'm buying through a platform, give me the capability to also be able to get my claim settled through a platform. Finally, harvesting data. We also need to limit ourselves in terms of how much data we are harvesting. I know we want to analyze this data. Recently, we wanted to change our bank signing mandate from a 2 to any of the 2. And the bank was asking for the marital status of the signatories, the salaries that they earn, the home address, for a very simple transaction, really. You already have this information. Let's not try to harness data beyond what, or harvest data beyond what we require. And finally, to my very good partners, and Mercy is here. She knows we've had several meetings with Airtel. We need to push these numbers through the platform. You know what is limiting us. Let's work on it. Let's work on it. The customers want to use Airtel, but they are being limited because of what you and I know. Let's try and work on it. I submit.
Peace. I know Jonan was speaking. The last segment was coded to be continued offline. Peace.
Thank you, Richard. My parting shots would basically say to thank our partner, Airtel. This is a step in the right direction because it not only helps us navigate the barriers of entry. I think Jonan has really put it right. Why should we replicate the wheel? Why should we all ask for the same KYC? Yes, it's the same person. And for us at Britam, we're looking at this. The regulator had mentioned he wants to see something like this 1 year from today. And what we're saying is, what is the meaningful impact of having this? It will not just be the count in terms of numbers, but it will be that story that a person will tell, that I actually had a business, I had a fire in the business, but I was able to be resilient. I was able to continue with my business despite what happened. So this partnership is a step in the right direction. We're excited to continue growing it because it provides rails and also the opportunity for different people who are unable to access, because with Airtel as our partner and a trusted partner, with all the customers that we have on board, we're able to explore more opportunities and, most importantly, be able to pay those claims, protect, and have a happy customer. Thank you.
Kevin?
Yes, I'd like to borrow from Mercy's words. Congratulations on legalizing your long-standing partnership. Yeah. I think it's important that this does not just end today. We expect that you leverage on each other's strengths to push financial inclusion into resilience. And I like the definition that our MC gave for resilience. But I'd like to even add on that. There's a gentleman who wrote a book, Taleb Nassim wrote a book called Anti-Fragile. And he said that when someone is anti-fragile, they don't just bounce back, but they gain from adversity. Yeah. And insurance is that tool that you can use not just to bounce back, but to gain competitive advantage as a business, but also as a person, as a people that we serve. We're looking at 10xing this country, and we see that insurance is a tool for that. So we expect that. And then also, finally, our acting CEO said that he expects us to be here in 1 year. So I hope to be called, not for a meeting of talking about numbers. Yeah, numbers are important, and numbers don't lie, but we want testimonies. Yeah, we come here and we celebrate the impact of this partnership through the products that you've developed, through the solutions that are now easing transactions, easing access, simplifying products, utilizing the IRA sandbox for those who haven't, yeah, and taking advantage of every opportunity to partner, not just with yourselves, but also with the UIA and with the IRA. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Right before we take up our stand for photo moment, media team, as I wrap it up on the takeaways, we've had a very exciting and very engaging, thought-provoking, and a very powerful panel, as you've had. But the key takeaways: number one, protection is real and it helps, but the protection gap is a lived economic issue. Number two, financial inclusion must include protection and wealth building through, of course, investments and savings. Mobile reach can lower barriers of entry. Industry collaborations can create shared progress. Impact must be measured through outcomes. And above all else, of course, we have to reach the untapped markets. The sails are up, the winds are blowing. I'll use PC's words. The rails have been laid. Now is the moment for us to walk and march majestically into the future with this partnership that is not only going to 10x, but that is going to accelerate exponentially to deliver us into the future. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. Right now, our media team, a photo moment for the panelists. Please stand up as I hand back over the mic to our MC of the day, Gava. Gava.
All right. So thank you very much. Let's appreciate the panel one more time. So the following people, please stay around for the media interviews. The representative of the Uganda Insurers Association, you're going to have a media interview. Richard on behalf of Britam and Mercy on behalf of Airtel. Please tell your neighbor, go to work. Tell your neighbor, go to work. Thank you very much for coming. It's been a beautiful morning. Let's take this partnership beyond this room and have yourselves a beautiful day.